Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael, as the grandkids call me Rue. Thanks for being on. It's Monday morning, and I think it's almost near the end of, it is. It's 29th of October, and that reminds me, I should have shut off my email, and I don't know if I did. Let me just quit it here for a second. It'll pop up and mess up everything in my world. Quit mail. So there. Well, maybe it's not going to quit. There it goes. Maybe. Oh, yes, there I am. So Monday morning, you forget where you are, forget what you're doing. Somebody just sent me a text and said, hey, did you leave this tool at my house? I went, yes, that's mine. Left one of my welding clamps. Was out doing a little welding for a friend over the holiday time. And, you know what? Everything I own is heavy. Have I said that before? Like time and time again. Let me say hello to some of you. Thanks for jumping on the show Monday morning. I hope you're planning on having a creative week as we turn into the first part of December. Can you believe it? We have let the calendar roll around on us one more time. Had nothing to do with it. Just show up. Do your job as withholding nothing, bringing what you can to the table, being blessed, highly favored, and for heaven's sakes, work to be creative. And that's kind of where we are. So, blessing time of the year. I love it. I paint some wacko roosters, and I'm going to paint one this morning. A big old roo, I think. And let me show you the desk. Then I'll say hello. Here's the desk right here. There it is. You see some, this painting, well, not that one. I painted these two little 6x6s the other day. I painted this one on the show. I sold it on an auction. It says celebrate Christmas. And this one says time to celebrate. This one I don't think it's sold yet. It's on Etsy. And then there's some little paintings that I had another cup of coffee on Saturday morning. Saturday mid-morning sometime after I painted with you guys. I was so fired up about painting. And I made another cup of tea, went downstairs. The grandkids were over, and I had planned this big pancake breakfast. And you know what they said? And it wasn't even an insult. It was a great gift of grace. They said, hey, Rue, we really just want Dunkin' Donuts today. So Carol says, I got it. So they hop into the boat, which is, we don't live on the water. We call her little convertible a boat. And because she would love to live on the water, but if you can't, you have a convertible and you just feel like you're in a boat. And so a little cool, and hopped in the boat, went down to Dunkin' Donuts. And but I sat there, and on my little drawing pad, the little drawing paper that I keep handy, and I'm out. I think I got one page left here, maybe. I believe it, maybe 2 pages. Ooh, no, that was messed up. Oh, that's it. We're done. Jettison that. So there's the ho 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 lob. There's the look at this one. Hey look, I'm Santa Claus. Yeah, no, that's pretty weak, isn't it? But I see you in there. If you don't hatch soon, you're going to miss Christmas. There's a little little peep looking at him, reflection in there. I always do a couple of these, and I think one of these I think these are posted on Etsy. Of course, you're welcome. The sheep are there. This, of course, is one of my favorite paintings, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, but sometimes you paint something and you just go, I love the simpleness of this. I love the way it tells the story. Remember, all my art tells stories. That's just where I'm coming from. That may not be what you do. Even my art in Maine that I painted, the lobsters there, told the story of where I was and where I was walking around and what I was steeped in and stilled in the whole time there. Run and get mom now. This one is a little peep dressed up like a star. And it says, I asked to be the star first. This one is saw that differently in my mind. I've done a bigger version of this. These are small. And this one says, toss it up. I think all those are on my Etsy shop. And I think all these little ones are like $28.57 each. And it's on 80-pound paper. It's a little bit cream colored, but they're all signed. What does it do? It frames well. Yes, it does. Lovey. It's like, okay, and so that one's gone. Anyway, look at this piece of paper I have laid out here today. There it is right there. It's a piece of studio watercolor. It's made by Fabriano. It's 11 by 14. It's 140 pound. It's 25% cotton, but it's got a great tooth, and I'm going to get messy with this piece of paper. That is a big piece of paper. Here we go. Here's the whole piece right there, finger to finger. See that? That's it. That's 14 inches. I'm going to probably paint something right in here. I chose a big piece of paper, not to make such a big painting, but to not mess up everything else around me, because I got on a nice scarf and I got on a vest, and I'm cold. That's why I have on all those things. So let me go to this shot here. There we go. Good morning to you. And let me say, top of the morning to you. John Robert Small popped on right early. Chris Whitaker, thank you. Chris, I think I owe you an email, and I know you bought something at the auction, a framed bird, I think, and I owe you a bag of Chips coffee. It's coming with it. It's cinnamon something. Cinnamon something. Venetia. Fern Skelly, good morning. Karen Binder, Donna Sell Barton, Pat Brooks, good morning to you. Pat, you were missed last week on the show. Where's Pat? It's not Roodoodles if you don't have Pat on the show. Had no emojis. We were emojiless. Just kidding. Ash Ashford, my dear brother, I saw you had all the grandkids and the family in a wagon on the farm over the holidays. Blessings to you, buddy. We need to talk. Just because we need to talk. Nothing important. Just say, hey. Bob from the comforting cornfields of Iowa. They're comforting until you're running down through the rows and you catch the edge of one of those green, sharp leaves. Of course, they're not green now. They're all brown and withered, and they cut you on the shoulder. And then it burns. Barbara Mayer, good morning to you. Kathy Lennon. Trish Brown, Deborah Tauber, Pat Thompson, Denise Albright, good morning from, Chile, Central California. Exeter, I believe, is the city. Sally Ann Smith says, look at this. I'm with my new granddaughter, Skyla Abigail Walker. Whoa, that is cool. You got a Christmas gift early. Man, my granddaughters are getting big, and they're a mess, and I love them. They're fabulous. They're brilliant. They're talented. Heather Kuhlman, thank you, and appreciate your email. I'll be in touch. I owe you a big painting, which is sketched out on the art bar. I'm upstairs in my studio today. This is where I bring you this show from, on the art bar. Sometimes I sneak down there, and I got more mailing to do today. Sent out a bunch of mailing right before the holidays. Get some more pieces that go down today. Something I'm returning to Pat. Just got a lot of things going. Pat did some amazing artwork for me in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. If you don't have that book, I'm going to encourage you to own the book. You can buy it from Amazon right now, after the show, of course. You don't have to. You can go now. You can get it from me, and I actually have a few copies here on the desk still left from my last order, but I get them drop shipped to me also. And it's called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, and it's really not rules for watercolor, because I don't think you should have rules in watercolor, except that you should have water and you should have color. And you should have something to put it on with. But you got your finger. That works too. And you can pick the paper up like we're going to do today and blow on it. That works too. But brushes are nice. In fact, brushes are so nice, I should give away one or two today. So maybe I can do that. Yasutoma has been very generous by sending some brushes via Cheap Joe's. And I watch Yasutoma's live Facebook page. In fact, they called me and said, hey, we like what you're doing, and tell us how you're doing it. And they've been thinking about it for a while. So they do a great job. And they were doing something the other day that was almost like marbleizing paper. There's another word for it that's about this long. And it's a Japanese word that I will not attempt. Anyway, Beverly Schmidt from Greenville, Jennifer Yentz. Bert, thank you for being on the show. Met Burke when I was in Greenville. Bert and Kathy, Catherine. It was fun to meet you guys. Jean Anthalzer, Jack Wolfenbarger, blessings to you, my dear friend. Dorothy Beasley, Teresa Emmerich. Melina Phillips, there you are. Yep, congrats on the new grandbaby. You got to love that, huh? Julie, thanks for being on the show. With Bob, I hope you're finding the cornfields as comforting, and have Bob make you a cup of coffee and then step out on the porch and look at them and see if they've cut them into silage yet. Robert Sharon Clark, thanks for being on the show from Idaho. I made a rhyme there. Marion Atwad, thank you for being Alwad, thank you for being on the show. Janice Scott, Terry Tardy, happy morning to you from out there in Oregon. Nancy Catlett, Laura Abbott, golly, thanks you guys for being on the show. June Jones, Deborah Spangler. I love it when all you guys pile on and the names have gotten so familiar. Wait a minute. Jason Nichols is watching during his prep period today. He's at school, but he's sneaking a view. And Jason, since you're on the show, I got to tell you, dude, you made me laugh a couple times over the weekend. Okay, so here's how you did it. You made a comment during the show that I caught right at the end, and I may have responded to you, but you know, when I go out, I wear a vest most of the time just because it's a very nice vest my wife gave me. It's a quilted down vest made by, yeah, you bet, Barber. And I would never pay this much money for a vest, but she paid it. And I'm like, wait, that's my money. I guess I did pay that much money for that vest, but it is a great vest. And it just keeps my body warm. You know, my arms don't get as cold, but my chest. So I love wearing it. I have on a scarf today because it's cold up here in my office, but it has great pockets. It has an inner pocket here. It has a nice snap pocket here, which I keep some of my business cards in. There they are right there, my plain business cards. And then the other pocket, and just as the show ended the other day, Jason said, he reminds me of Columbo looking in his pockets. You know, Columbo would always pivot. You know, the show that moved slower than I do in the 70s. It showed the car approaching, turning the curve, the blinker, clink, 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 and then turning into the driveway, and then it stops. The camera shot is along the edge of the road. It comes up, the door opens slowly, and you see his foot get out on the edge of the trench coat. Amazing. Even the walk up. Nowadays, that's not how TV is edited today. We don't have time for that, you know. It's crazy. But every now and then, I watch one of those shows. But when Columbo gets ready to go, he's got his, by the way, you got to love the guy, right? He's got his pen. He's got his little pad. Don't you just love that? Come on. You need to have a pen and a pad with you at all times. And so that's why my pockets are so great. So I start looking for a pen, and I go, where's my pen up here on the desk? And I go, oh, yeah. So I reach in my pocket. There's one there. I reach down here again. And so he says, you look like Columbo checking all your pockets for something that you can't find. He go, hold on, one second. A receipt from somewhere. And this is serious. All this is coming out of my pocket right now. What's in this inner pocket? Oh, a mask. I do have a mask in there because I went somewhere yesterday that said, we're required by the state to tell you to wear a mask, whether you've been inoculated, vaccinated, or interpreted. We don't care. And I said, okay, I have it. And so I took it like this, and I went like this. I walked in and got what I needed and left. And I wasn't being a wise guy, just kind of trying to be funny, but I don't think it worked. Anyway, so location can help tell a story. Hey, oh my gosh. Kyle Dixon, thank you. Kyle, you are a funny, funny man who has a twisted, warped, wild sense of humor, and I love it. Thank you very much. Love your antics. Jennifer Thistle, is it Thistle? Thank you for your purchases and being a part of that. Send me an email. You bought something at an auction from me just yesterday. Mickey DeYoung, thank you. Becky Bailey, here we go. Catherine Brousseau, I'm going to take off here. Patricia Mayer from Snowy, Maine. Ooh. Pat Lightbody, thanks for being on the show. Exeter is gateway to the Sequoias. Does that not sound awkward to you? It should be Entrance, California. It should be the gateway to the Sequoias, not Exeter. That's when you leave the Sequoias. But I don't want to argue with California because nobody can do that. Okay. All right. Laura, thanks for being on the show. TikTok Jones, Ricky Govers. All right, here we go, people. Man, a lot of you are piled on this morning, and I thank you so much for being a part of this show. I'm going to just put some music on, and I'm going to paint a big old something here. And notice what I've got on the desk. My box from my Apple phone. There it is right there. I keep these boxes from the Apple phone. There it is, because why? Man, they hold pencils so great. It's a good box. If Apple doesn't do anything else well, they package brilliantly. So there's my Dr. P.H. Martin's liquid watercolor. This is not ink. This is watercolor. This is Sumi ink. This is watercolor. And I'm going to just drop it on there and make a painting happen, put on some music. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to rip a page off so that I don't mess up all the pages underneath, because this is going to get kind of messy, I promise you. Let's see, I think I had another piece of paper. There we go. All right, I'm going to put this somewhere out of the way. Clear the deck. I've been working on a painting for someone, and I can't remember who sent me a note. You said, please, please, please paint me a rooster that's playing a cigar box fiddle. And I said, okay. And I started it, and now I cannot find the note. Because here's the thing. If you want me to paint something, or if you haven't heard from me on a painting, you have to email me. If you put it in the show listings or in messages to me, I very rarely see it. It's just by the time I go back and scan through all those, it goes relevant or newest or this. Send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, and we'll solve it that way, okay? All right. Patricia Lane Evans says, great idea for the Apple phones. I have 3 of them and thought they were too good to toss out. Look at this. I'm not kidding. I have probably, who knows how many over there. This one, look, there's pins in one, shaboom. There's paint in one. That drawer over there in that old 1900 kitchen counter cabinet. Beautiful. What's this one I need right there? That old hutch has tons of them in there. Okay. So here's what I think I want to do. I want to take a pencil, and I just want to get in the ballpark here with a little bit of a Roo. And I think I want him to be just a big old stalwart Roo. Is that the right word? Repurposing objects, a theme for my design class. There you go. Here's a little music coming to you. I'm just going to put his beak here, like so, because I want... There we go. I said I was, and then I got carried away, didn't I? See? All right, so that's all I'm going to do right now. No, I'll actually put one of his legs in right here. He's going to be a pretty big Roo. He's kind of fun. Every now and then I like to do a big old Roo. I think I'm going to do this guy standing back here like this. That foot's a little bigger because it's foreshortened. It's on this side of the Roo. This one's cut off. This will be his open leg coming down that way. There it is right there. All right, he's down here close to the deck. That's okay. All right, so I think you can see him penciled in. Left something up here in the sky, but also this is a big piece of paper, so I wasn't going to do one this big, and now I just lied through my teeth. Here we go. That's a big old Roo, and so am I. Wow, large painting. Do you do many of them, Sandra Connor? About once or twice a month, I'll just grab a big piece of paper, sometimes bigger than this. I have some yay big, and I'll just paint a big Roo, and I'll go downstairs and I'll just get a couple big bamboo brushes. And I'll just take off and just look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. These are just brilliant. There's one that hasn't even been used yet. And I mean, this will rock and roll right here. This is a number 5, CC5. In fact, it still has starch in the, I'm going to keep that like that. I'll open that on Christmas. Love this brush right here. This is a 6SW. This is a 3, I think I'll hold in my hand. That's a 4. There's a 3 here somewhere. There it is right there. There's a 3. There's a 3, either with 3 or 4, and then a 1. And that's, I usually give away a 1 and a 3. So a 1 and a 3. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put those over there. I'm going to just take a little bit of this blue and drop it in. Now that I quit talking, I like that piece of music. I think I'll play it again. Drop a little bit of this red up in here where it needs to be. A couple pieces there. Drop a little bit of yellow in here. You see how careful you have to be with watercolor, right? This is kind of one of my favorite ways to paint. I'm going to drop a little more right there. And then I'm just going to grab, and there's several ways you can do this. I'm just going to take this and just pick it up and blow it a little bit. Perfect. Just like that a little bit. But I'm going to grab a big brush. What am I going to grab here? Let's grab this SW. Here's one of the brushes that I'll give away today. Well, not this used one. I'll give you a new one. This is the All-Purpose 3. This is the Yasutoma All-Purpose 3. Clean water. And just going to jump in here, splash some clean water on it out of the brush like this. And then just come and see there, I splashed that and it widened out already. Look at that, amazing. And then I'm just going to grab this and let the tail feathers start to come out of this. And I want those purple to come up in there, so I'm mixing this red in on purpose. And I'm holding this brush way back and I'm just letting it roll. I don't want this so thick that I cut out all my holidays. Remember those white spaces? This is beautiful bright white paper. It's made by Fabriano. It sounds like an actor that used to be in those romance novels, right? Oh, I think that was Fabian, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna grab a little red here and come in here. Let's get some orange in the body. Look at that, that's cool. And now let's go in here and get just a touch of, I got some yellow in this brush. There it is right there. And I'm gonna come in here and put some yellow with this right blue here and get a little bit of brown and green going. Look at that. See that green that came out of that brush? This is the cool thing about bamboo brushes is that you can actually touch color in different parts of the brush. Really kind of fun to see that happen. Some of you are noticing Fabriano. We have Chris says she loves Fabriano paper. I like it. It's not my favorite. Kilimanjaro is still my favorite because of the grain and the way that it's pressed. And also, I'm just a fan of it being made right here in this country. And it's actually hammered out in England, but it's put together in Boone, North Carolina, in Joe's shop. They put all that paper together there. They glue it, they bind it. It's really cool to be a part and see that happen. That's kind of fun stuff to do. I want a little bit of green here in the back of this roux too. So I'm grabbing this blue and bringing this in. Remember, I just started with 3 colors. I painted the first probably year in watercolor by just using 3 colors, 3 primaries, red, yellow, and blue. And not any particular ones. I just chose bright ones because I wanted bright paintings. So there's this big old roux coming together. And look what's happening here. This blue's running in here, and it's beginning to build little rivers and tributaries down in here, right here. And I'm going to help it a little bit. I'm going to pick this up and just let it come downhill, just a smidgen. Come downhill, as in gravity rolls. If you can see it, look, it's coming down right here. Look, see that? Watch this. Look, see that right there? It's coming down. Still rolling south. And then what's happening is I'm taking the weight off of that, and now you're beginning to see the grain in this paper, and it's actually looking like feathers. Who would have thunk it? Not I, said the guy. And then I'm going to just drift this down in here and build the bottom end of this roux out of this dark little color like this. Just dancing my brush in here. Look at that. Just dancing it, see? Sometimes I watch people paint watercolor, and I feel like they're in like this going. And just rush it around. Just let it play. Let it have fun. Let it be what it's supposed to be. And you go, well, I don't know if I wanted that. And got a young man coming over this week. He's young. He's in his early 40s, and he's a great acrylic painter, but he wants to learn how to paint watercolor. And so I'm going to say you just got to be willing to let it do what it does. Let it be the watercolor. Quit trying to make it be something it's not. If you want to stay with oil, that's great. If you want to paint fine line and detail, that's fabulous. But if you want to be a loose watercolor painter, then just let it go. All right, I need something here that I don't see what it is that I need. I think I'm going to take my little paper cutter. Here it is, just a little zip paper cutter that I keep. Boy, I'm glad I put the lid on that paint because I just knocked it over. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to lay my paper up on that and let it kind of come downhill. I have one more thing I'm going to add to that. Here we go. Nope, I don't know what I did with it. So I'm not going to add it to that. Oh, here it is. Here it is. One reason I use a piece of wood like this sometimes, this is a piece of birch, just plywood, 1/8" birch plywood, and I cut a hole in it. If you don't have one of these, good grief, grab some scrap birch plywood or just go to one of the big box stores, Lowe's or Home Depot, and buy a 2x4 sheet and cut about 3 or 4 pieces like this out. Drill a hole so you can pick them up easy enough. There it is. I've got a small one of these that fit in my briefcase. I got an 8x10. I got an 11x14. There's a bigger one over there. This one's a little small here. This is a 9x12, but that'll give me just a little bit of a solid backing. So if I pick that paper up, it's not like picking up a piece of lasagna noodle. Now I need some orange to make a little bit of the leg color out of. So let's see, I can go get some red here. Get a little bit of red in there. I get a little bit of red here. And I'm going to need a little more yellow. So I think what I'm going to have to do is put a little touch of yellow in the legs. I don't want to touch that right there because that'll turn, it will turn orange. And so I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow on the dauber itself and put it in there. And then I'm going to add the red out of the brush in here and get that orange that I want on the legs. There we go. Just like so. And here, even here, I'm laid back and I'm just laying my brush in and letting my brush dance in there. I'm leaving as much. And look, I hit this color here and watch, it's running down into the orange. And I absolutely love that. If I want to run a little more, I'll just put a little drop of water in there. Watch. And the water runs down. Don't be frustrated when your colors run together. You may discover something more beautiful than what you were painting originally. Now, there's a lot of white space in here, but I love it. I think it gives this whole rooster some body, but I'm going to go back and just add a couple more things just for fun. I'm going to add a touch of black in here, just right there. Just a little touch. And I think I'm going to add a touch of black just right there. Whoa, and that's going to take off. I mean, that was almost micro. And I think I'm going to have to get some, I've said this last time I painted with this. This is titanium white. And I think it's titanium a tad out. Let's see if I can. I believe I'm in trouble here. I'm not in trouble. I mean, like, who cares? Oh, no, there's a little bit in there. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of this titanium white. Sue Linda Reagan asked you about the box fiddle rooster. She's an anniversary. Whoa. All right. Boy, look at that note. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to come in with this. I think you can see right here. There's some green, beautiful green breaking in here. Unfortunately, I got a little bit of glare on these colors, and you can't see them as clear as they really are. There, if I hold it up a little bit, you'll see a little more of that green bleeding through. It's just gorgeous. And did I paint that? Did I brush that? No, I just put it in there with the water and let it meld itself together. Now I'm going to take a little bit of titanium white, and I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to come in. Sometimes roosters, right at where the hackle comes down and goes back into that back feather, there's a little bit of a place where the feathers come together, and there's a little argument for space in there on the rooster's back. The feathers are going like, that's my place, that's my place. And there's this little explosion of feathers that don't know which way to go. And I'm going to try and drop that white right there and see if it will just make one of those spots for me. But I want as much white as I can muster in here. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Now see that? See those 3 spots that just jumped in there? Okay, so I'm going to take a smaller little bamboo brush. This is the number 1. Okay, so I've been using the 1 and the 3, which are the brushes I'm going to use today. And I'm just going to barely touch that with a little bit of water and get that white spot to just spread out kind of like a star. There it is right there. Now I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to just take some of that black, touch it in here like this with that black that I barely dropped, and then I want a tad of that down here. Look what happened here. You see that black ran down into the leg? I can get rid of a little bit of that by doing this right here. Watch. Take a little paper towel and just lay it on that very carefully. Pick it up, boom. And I took that out. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab a little bit of orange, and I'm going to pull that orange back in there just like so. It actually adds a little gray green to it, which I like. The feet don't need to be so orange. I want them to be a little bit dirty. Like I paint roosters that look like they've been out in the barnyard. I don't want to paint things that look like that just came out of the showroom. I'm not on the fashion runway in Paris. I think y'all recognize that already. I mean, look at the dude. Okay. Somebody needs to do my hair. Okay, love the white you added. I live 20 minutes from the nearest big grocery store. I have to cross the state line. Oh, okay. Okay. I think there's a conversation there that I don't know anything about. I thought it was a question for me, but well, then move closer to the grocery store. Okay. Oh, you guys are crazy. Okay, I love it. Can Rune give me yes, I can. If you'll give me your the headmaster, the principal of the school, I'll call them and say, listen, there's something happening big in architecture today, and Jason has done all his prep work. He needs to just tune the show in, and I'll teach the class from here, and we'll talk about something. I'll find something to talk about. I should have put this eye in here before, but there it is right there. Look at that. I'm going to put a little dark in here. Here's where I go back in with a pen and just do a little bit of detail. Don't you love that? Just so what? You know, we get so afraid to go backwards and work backwards sometimes. I'm outlining these feet a little bit. Okay, so there's the lines in the feet. There's the toenails. Love doing those with just a pen. I just need them to show that they're there. I'm not trying to, once again, this is whimsical storytelling art. It's not. It's not what I'm trying to do. Is to realism. I'm not trying to do a photorealism. It's a good thing too, because I wasn't gifted or skilled in that area. So here I'm just taking a ultra fine flare pen that I know bleeds kind of a gray blue, and I'm just making some earth down here, and I'm cross hatching sideways and back and forth, and then putting a little bit, and then I'm just of marks in it. I'm just going to grab a little touch of a wet brush and slide it across. Watch this. Zip, zip, zip. Okay, and while there's a good shadow with that. It's a good perfect blue shadow. I should see blue shadow here. I hit the foot, and look what the foot did. It rolled some of this orange yellow into that. What's it doing? It's turning it green. And so how can you lose? Because you got this little bit of a green little path down there. If that's too much, I can just take some out right there and stay with the green that I like, or actually add a touch more green in there, and you'll never know that I touched the foot. There's ways to create just about any mistake that you make in watercolor, unless you just, come over here and just put your thumb down on that. So, or make a big old blob out here on the side like this. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll do one on the other side, and it looks like they match. There's the biggest spurs I've ever seen on a rooster. Okay. All right. So there's how to just do 3 or 4 drips of paint. Very strong, bold, watercolor. I think here's one thing I think scale-wise, I think this rooster needs a little more room for brains, and so I'm just going to make his comb a little larger. He just looked like his little head was just a tiny bit small for his body, and so I grew. Somebody asked me this week about my hair. Last night, actually, I was somewhere, and I said, well, I grew it out long to make room for my brains. And how about you? And he didn't have any. I said, I got nothing else to say. All right, there's a fun little painting. A big roof. Okay. So what would I do to make this roof finished up? I just probably go in here and get a little bit of blue. Wait, I don't even have to go there. Look, I could go here and get some blue. I bet I can get blue off this tail right there and right there. Ooh, and then grab another brush, come in here and just do some fun little sky splatters like this. Turn it a little bit so they all don't look like they're going in the same direction. If some of those are too much, you can touch them like this, and that'll blot them a little bit. They'll dry a little softer. You might want to go in and just catch a little bit of this red right here. Let's get this brush cleaned out and catch a little bit of the red right here. And then come right in here on the tail and just put a touch or spot of red in there. And a little bit of beauty marks, I think Lee and Zen call those. Let's put some beauty marks on your rooster. So he would tap a little bit of red. I like that. I think we need a little more yellow. I don't think I got enough yellow this morning. I wasn't happy with all my yellow. So I'm going to come in here and just boost up his neckline with a little bit of more yellow right in there like that. I love that. Look at that. Man, that is a cool looking roo, even if I did paint it myself. And I want you to back up this Christmas season and paint something where you go, I like that. That's fun. I was just playing and it turned into this. This whole mess right here makes me smile. This yellow that I popped in there hit with that white and that blue, and it turned almost a kind of a spring green color. I like this green in here. It looks like he's got on an ugly sweater for Christmas. I'm loving it. Could come in here. I love the fact that this red went up and turned very violet in here. Not violent, but violet. I like these toenails need to be a little bigger on this roo just because he's big old roo. He's got to dig for corn. I want a little more green in the grass down here now. It's beginning to dry out. So I'm going to come back and add another little layer of that, like so. Break some grass strips in there. Look, if you see me do this before, you take this little brush right here and you put a little paint in it like so. And you just spread it out with your fingers. See there? Spread it out right there like that. Just open it up. Can you see right there? I'm opening it up a little bit. And then just drag it up like this and you'll create some great little grass strands. Look. Bend those back. You see how that's open? And look at this. If I just touch it right here, I get these great little grass strands, and I go right up over his feet with those. Maybe come in right here and swip some of this together. Just put a little bit of water in there. Come in and grab a little bit. So much for not using this whole sheet of paper, right? Yeah, you knew that wasn't going to work. I knew as soon as I saw it. Okay, so there we go. There's a little bit of blue, just tying that in together. So you know now that anybody that looks at it knows that that's sky. We'll let that just go right off the page. Okay, that's a little too much. So what I'm going to do is I'll water it down some, but I'll also just come in with a paper towel and blot it like this, build a cloud out of it. There we go. All right, so there's my roof for today. I think there's one more thing that I'm seeing right here on a piece like this. Just want a little extra shadowing right here. So I'm going to probably pick up a little bit of orange. Maybe I'll just pick up a spot of red right there. There it is. That did it right there. Look at that. I give him a little shadow across his beak and then back this yellow right here into the behind the eye and then maybe pull that down right there. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Once this dries a little bit, I might come back in here. Well, no, I'll just do it right now. Is it Terry Tardy that says, I like when you say you're going to come back and do this, that you do it right then? Yeah, well, strike while the iron is hot. I'm a blacksmith, okay? Or I think like one. Actually, I think like an artist. I am a blacksmith. Okay, so there we go. So there's a roux that is bigger than a bread box. There he is. I don't know what he's going to say yet, but he's going to be, I don't know. I might turn him into a Christmas roux, and I might not. But speaking of Christmas roux, I got time to paint one more for you this morning. Let's see. See what we got going here. King of the Roost, fabulous feather textures on your rooster. Thanks, Becky. And you saw how easy it was to get those. I just played around with a loose brush. Does anybody else see a big eye in the body holiday? Now I can't unsee it. Yeah, right here. Yes, we do. Remember what I told you that was called on Jason's show the other night? Facial? What? There's a name for it. There is an official scientific name for when we look and see faces and things. Pareidolia. Facial pareidolia means that we are wired to see faces and recognize faces. It's just how you were created. So now you see this big eye and you can't unsee it. All right, if it bothers you, I'll show you how to unsee it. Watch this. Gone. Maybe not. Maybe I just gave it a red pupil. All right, I kind of like it. We'll leave it. All right, so there we go. There's the Roo this morning. Boom. He is out of here. Wait, I'm going to leave him on this piece of paper right here. Put him, or board. Put him down on the floor so that... excuse me. So when I get up to step out of my office, I'll try not to step right in the middle of him. Time for another cup of tea. I'm drinking Thai food tea right now. I haven't shipped in any builders in a while, and I like Thai food. This is the Thai food extra strong. Thai food extra strong. Woo, and extra hot. Man, that thermos works. Okay, move this out of the way, and let's go in with another piece of paper here. And I'll just fold this here like so. This is a piece of 140-pound Fluid 100 paper. I don't have a bone folder up here. Some of you may not know what that is. Pat probably uses one for all her ripping. So I'm using this little tool that's it's a fidget tool, but it's what I use to separate my pads from. And I'm just turning it over using the edge of it as kind of a folder. Just pulls down like this. It pulls a hard edge down here. So if I want to turn this over one more time and just run it down the edge like this, sometimes I can just pull that paper cutter up here and cut it. And other times I'll just want to rip my paper, so I'll just rip it like this and pull it apart like so. There we go. Boop. Just pulls it apart. And this is nice paper. And you can paint on either side of watercolor paper. The funny thing is sometimes there are some papers that I choose on painting on the backs of more than the fronts. Why? Maybe the bed that it was pressed on had a different texture than the roller that was pressing it, and I like that texture better. This particular paper has a smoother back and kind of a more of a jagged front, and so I might do one in each, and I might just take a note. And sometimes I'll just take a pencil, and if I wanted to keep up with that, I might take before I took it off of the piece like this, I might just take a pencil and I might just do one like in a corner with the pencil, because I'll flip it around so I can find it easy if my light's not good in here. And so this is what that tool's for. This is a easy pad. You just put this down in here and then rip it off from the glue. I like watercolor blocks. That's an easy block. It's called, I said pad, but it's an easy block. All right. I saw some of your Christmas trees. Some of you are painting Christmas trees. You're loving it. Do they ever land upside down? I don't know what you're talking about. So, bloodshot eye. Y'all are hilarious. Oh, gosh. Awaiting delivery of my Christmas Roo theme painting. It's, yeah, it should be there. It took off. So it should show up today or so. Anyway, I saw that. All right, here we go. I think, ooh. Sometimes when we're painting Christmas trees, we try to paint them like they are on greeting cards perfectly. And I think I've never really seen a perfect Christmas tree. I'm the guy who for 10 years of his life, and I know I've told you this story before, my tradition was to cut a Christmas tree down with a pocket knife. And I'd take a sandwich and a thermos and go out and the fence line, the pastures where we lived in western North Carolina, and I'd go and I'd find myself a nice little pine about yay big around, and then I'd start cutting. And sometimes the trees were so scraggly, or what you would call a Charlie Brown tree, that I would have to cut down 2 trees, and I would wire them together, and Carol and I would use those for Christmas trees. And sometimes the tree was so bad that I would drill into the part of the tree like this, and then take another bunch of tree limbs and sharpen those down, take all the bark off, and drill a nice hole and put that in the hole. Boop. And so it's lasted as long as the other tree. So that's kind of my story of Christmas trees. And now, of course, I have to go and buy them for a fortune. And yeah, you go like, holy smokes, man. I should be in the Christmas tree business, but then no. I had a friend who had 5 acres of Christmas trees in the mountains, and trust me, I didn't want to do that. So this is a tree that people say, oh, there's not enough limbs, but then you want to put 350,000 ornaments and things hanging on it, and so you don't have any place. So in a tree like this, I like the fact that you can just put, you got space to put all sorts of things in there. And so for me, that kind of makes this really fun. And so I love this concept of just putting these little peeps up in the tree. And this just came to me right now. I've done this one other time, but I didn't think of this morning. I just thought about it right now while I'm doing it. And but I think what a fun thing to do. If you got, this is Chicken Little Tree. Maybe put one right here, just kind of in behind that limb right there. And put this guy down here like this. So now I've given myself plenty of space for these little peeps to be up in the tree. Here, let me blow that up just a little bit. And I mean that figuratively, not literally. Okay, so here we go. Boom. See if I can get it to focus right in there, like so. That'd be close. Let me try it one more time, get a focus on this pen if I can. All right, that's not bad. That's a little out of focus. Why does that thing, my camera doesn't want to focus on pen and ink. It's the light in the studio, I think, is what it is. This may help us a little bit right here. All right, that's a little better. So there's this little Christmas tree, and it's got a bunch of little peeps in it. There's one up here who, of course, is the star. He thinks he is anyway. There's one here that's he's looking back that way. And here's a couple that haven't made it up yet. All right, so let's grab a different brush here. What is this brush here? This is a number 10, I think. This is a brush that you might not have. We had 18 acres to the north. Okay, here we go. I'm scrolling all the way back up to the top, and then I'm scrolling all the way down, and all the way back, and all the way down, all the way back, and all the way down, and boom. Why is no names coming up? Sorry. What's going on with my computer here? Sorry. I was off the scroll pad. All right. Got to come up with a name, boom, and I've got, it looks like Lisa, Leisa, Crosley, Crossley. You're the middle name between Miss Carla, who says she's got eggs for breakfast, And Jean Anthalzer, who says, I do. And I assume there's not a wedding in the process. So, but Lisa, Leisa Crosley, Crossley. If you send me an email at roodoodles.com, I will put your name into Cheap Joe's. From Yasutoma, you're going to get 2 of these brushes, a number 1 and a number 3 bamboo brush. It's called the All-Purpose SW3 Yasutoma and the All-Purpose SW1. I don't know what SW stands for. It's just a SKU that Mr. Yasutoma, David Yasutoma, put on it back in the 50s. Beautiful brushes. So, Lisa, Leisa Crosley, if you send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, I will, with an address, put your address on there. I won't share it with anybody. And if you do that, I will do the following. I'll send it to those guys, and just be patient. It takes them a while to turn all the wheels. I send it to them. They notify someone else. The brush comes in. Brushes are probably already in from California. They sent us quite a few. They sent Roodoodles show quite a few brushes for me to just be able to give to you guys because they appreciate the community. They appreciate the show. They appreciate me using their brushes and talking about them. And I'm going like, no, it's the other way around. And they said, we'd like to give some of your folks brushes. And so that's how this turned out. So I get to give them away. What a fun thing, huh? Don't you love it? So Phoebe Lee out there in Yasutoma and Karen, some of the artists, they're fabulous. They discovered one day by watching one of my shows that I was using bamboo brushes to watercolor paint with. And they said, that brush was designed for calligraphy. And I go, yes, but have you seen me write? Well, I'm terrible, but it is fabulous at watercolor. And they said, yeah, we want to get more and more into letting people know how good they are for watercolor. And so because of that, we did some phone calling back and forth. They were pleasant. Oh, just extremely pleasant. Great story. And so that's how it came out. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it anyway. Remember, I always paint my buckets kind of a rusty green. Why? Just because I still see my paintings as a part of my boyhood. We didn't live on a farm, but a small little tract of land that was a good garden site, and with honeybees and bird dogs and chickens, and did have a milk cow who ran off on Sundays. She was a mess. And all right, so a little Christmas painting like this. So Lisa, if you'll send me an email, I'll see that you get a couple brushes coming your way. All right. Taking that brush, dipping it into, this is a number 1 Yasutoma. I'm dipping it into that Gamboge yellow, which is my favorite yellow, one of my favorite yellows anyway. May be my favorite yellow. I like it because it's just bold. There's supposed to be a peep right there, but he got caught up in the branches. Let me just go in there and open up a little bit of, I need some yellow. There we go. Look at him. He's hiding in the branch right there. All right, so this guy down here, just put him a little, I'm going to go in and do a little detail on those peeps, okay? Even though this is a tiny little painting, you can do some fun detail if you pay attention to what you're messing with. So you kind of go in, get yourself a little bit of rusty brown. Here's some right here. Build a little tree underneath there. I like the space in this tree. I like not having the tree so full so you can see what I'm headed. Then I'm going to go in here with this little bit of a sienna brown. I think it's going to be closer to sienna brown. I'm going to come in and just hit the beaks of these roos with that. And so what if that color runs back into the body? I don't really care. We're doing illustrative here. So you look at that and you go, oh my gosh, the tree is filled with peeps. Didn't want to paint the sky, just wanted to do some nice little light splatters there. Denise says sometimes that little bit of detail makes all the difference. It does, and it doesn't take much, Denise. You're absolutely right. Sometimes if you'll see my paintings, I'll go back in and I'll just put a little wing, or I'll make sure they have a little eye. And here's what it tells the person who looks at it. They meant to do that. Oh my gosh. Look at this. The artist left it this way. Why did the artist leave it this way? I'll tell you why the artist left it that way. Because the artist liked it that way. That's the way the artist left it. You ever watch TV shows that are taped or recorded and you go, oh, somebody made a mistake, and you go, no, they didn't. There's too much at stake in television and advertising, so they just made it cheesy because they wanted it cheesy, or they just came back and repeated it and made it over dramatic because they thought that would cause it to sell more advertising. They put it all in there, and you think, uh-oh, somebody made a mistake. No, they didn't. They just messed it up on purpose. All right. This is a fun little painting. I wasn't going to go here, but I did. So take a look at this. I'm just going to grab something here from my desk. Let's see if I can find it. I'm looking. I'll find it in a minute. There it is, a measuring tape. I think this paper, I should have ripped it about 6 inches by 5. Let's go right in there somewhere. Okay, we'll just give it maybe it. And then I'm going to just, I don't have my mat knife up here. I have my pocket knife. Don't be offended by that. I'm just going to roll right down through here and just make a cut. There we go. And that should do it right there. Boom. Okay. So it'll be trimmed when it's framed. And I'm going to write the caption right there. And so it'll work out fine. Okay. Says, come on, just hang it out. See, didn't have to be any big breakthrough. It's just as simple as it gets. Everybody who walks by it understands, and they said, oh my gosh, the tree is flocked. Linda, dang, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. I just painted my first flocked Christmas tree. Well, for this year. I painted it before. But I want you to know what a great pun that is and what a great play on words that is. We flocked our Christmas tree. I love it. That's just too good. Thank you so much. I think the bucket needs a little bit of detail here. Maybe a little bit of purple shadow right there, and maybe a little bit of purple shadow under this peep right here. I want a little more rich green coming down this bucket right there. There's a little green underneath. I think I want just a touch more of this sienna on the bucket. There it is, a little more rust there. And then I want a little dirty this up a little bit down below. So I kept my brush with a little of that sienna, and I'm just going to pop some of this little sienna down here on the edge. Come on, just hang it out. Flocked is genius. Oh, Judy, y'all, thanks for jumping on the show. Jason is gone, so somebody had to take the baton, Linda says. Linda, that's genius. Pitch dark, and I'm already in the fairy line. Sheila Nelson is tuning in from she's heading across to get some eggnog, I'm sure, over from the island. Man, I tell you, you're talking about planning ahead. You people at Bainbridge Island. It's still dark. You're taking the ferry over to do a little pre-Christmas shopping or just getting groceries. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to send Jason that. All right, so there it is. Hey, listen, it's Monday. Don't forget, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is the name of the book. If you haven't seen it, go to Roodoodles.com, go to Amazon, and just type in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, and up will come a book that's about 30-something pages of things that I said on the first 100 shows. Pat kept up with them, and then I said to Pat, would you just illustrate these in your own way, what you hear and what you see? And I don't want to overmanage this. It's not my job. Just be who you are with your own art style. It is a different book. It's got her style of writing. It's or art. It has my style of writing, which is storytelling. They're all based on true stories. Each one of them, how Carol and I go to galleries and how I grew up and what my dad said. And this is bothering me a little bit right now that this painting is so crooked on one side. So I'm just going to cut it right here because see, I'm fast brain, remember? Okay, so there we go. You can trim it, like I said, when it gets to be framed, but I thought I'd just slide the knife up there. Yeah, I feel better about that little sliver right there. Okay, so there's a fun little Christmas painting for you. You don't have to overdo it. Just do some fun little painting. This would make a great little card for somebody. This peep down here, and one more thing in 1 minute, needs one more little leg. He's got his foot up like this, going like, hey, what are you guys doing? You know, I'm interested. And they're saying, come on up, dude. So now that it dries a little bit, I can go back in here and make sure some of these have little wings and the eyes. And there's a little wing there. There's a little wing and an eye. There's one right there. So that's what I love. Love going back and doing it. There's a little face on that one that's hidden in the bushes. In the bushes. There's another one face on. And then maybe come in and just touch some little spots in the tree like that. And I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm calling that finished. Just hanging out in the flocked tree. That's so good. All right. Hey, Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow is, I think I owe somebody 4 books. I think it's Michelle Deal. Those are coming to you. Sold out the other day. I only had 4 or 5. I only had 3, I think, laying on the counter of, hey, Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow? They're being drop shipped here Wednesday, I think. So in a couple of days, I'll get those turned around to you. And I think you bought a coloring book. And also, I think you bought one of the Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle books. So thank you for that. Anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow, Lord willing. And then I'm moving through. Tomorrow's the 30th. Yeah, it's my anniversary day. So Carol and I will just have a wonderful dinner out. We took our anniversary trip a couple weeks ago to Asheville, the day of the open house for the garden cottage, and then we spent a night at the Grove Park Inn. Wow, beautiful place. So that was our, hey, rates are good, let's go. You celebrate when the timing is right. So a little dinner, and I'm at my desk today for some busy paperwork and catching up, and then some mail. And done, I think, with my welding projects for December, and that is a nice feeling to know. So just me and the chiropractor now. All my welding is done for the year. Maybe. I think I might make some. I still want to make a couple. I'm going to forge a couple metal shrimp, and maybe that lobster that I've been working on outside. All right. So Pat says if you do buy a Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle book and you want a little personalized book plate from her, she will rush that right to you. And look, that's cool. There was no way we could be in the same place to sign the books through COVID and all that, and also just getting books from 3 or 4 different places, Amazon or me from her, or from your local bookstore where they are not. But hey, thanks for leaving reviews if you buy one. And you can go to Roodoodles.com. You can go to Roodoodles Etsy. This will probably wind up, I think this is going to wind up on my Facebook page this morning. I think I'm going to put it out there with just a little price on it. And Linda, I'm going to leave this caption here, but I'll put a note there that you mentioned it as Flocked Christmas. I think that's pretty funny. All right. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Tiffany says, Tiffany, thank you very much. Pat Thompson, thanks for being on the show. Linda Lawless, Joy Eakin. Wow, you people jumping on the show. And Kelly Berger, I don't think I said hello to you, or Susie DeLay, so blessings. Glad you were here. And yes, Carol and I, we got married when we were 4, so I'm only, I don't know what my age is, but we lied about our age. All right, blessings to you all. I'll see you here tomorrow, Lord willing. Do something creative. Right now, would you just take your cup and I'm not kidding here. It is the season that's a great, wonderful season, but it's a tough season for some people too. As it can be a tough season for families, and it can be a tough season for ones who have lost loved ones, and it can be a tough season. Holidays are just that way. They don't mean to be, but because they're supposed to be celebrated in such a great way, sometimes you miss a piece of that celebration. So if you know someone like that, send them a note today, or send them a text, or send them an email, or pick up the phone and just call them. Or better yet, walk down the street, knock on their door. I still have a painting to do for a guy that I said I was going to do and I haven't gotten to, but one of these days I'm going to do it. One of you painted a painting for a neighbor who was selling vegetables, and I thought it was brilliant and I loved it. So take a sip, and right during that sip, think about who you're going to contact today. I look at my wall over here because I have some names on the wall that I promised people I'd keep up with. So I'm going to send one of those notes right now before I leave this spot and finish this cup of tea. Blessings to you. And we'll talk about December soon. I'm not going to do a class in December, but I'm going to just keep painting some crazy real Christmas pieces and put them out very fair. And I'm also going to talk about what I'm going to do in January. We'll change things around a little bit for Roodoodles 857. All right, I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Be blessed.